Hey, this is Ed from PhillyOnCanvas.com. Thanks for stopping by. So here's the story about this art. In 2001, I began looking for an artist in Russia to work with me in developing a new collection of Philadelphia art. You might be wondering, why Russia? Well, I knew there were many very talented artists over there, and I also knew that Russia was still struggling to recover from its late 1990s financial crisis. So I figured that I might be able to find a really good artist to work with me over there at reasonable cost. The search took a lot longer than I expected. I spent more than a year trying to find the right artist. I hired an assistant to help me in that search, and eventually I held a little art competition, and that's how I found my artist, Stanislav Bogdan. There was a problem though. A middleman was involved. At first things were going okay, but then I was taken by surprise on one cold winter day in St. Petersburg, Russia. I was visiting the area at that time, and I had received the latest painting. It was rolled up. I unraveled it, and I found that it was not done by Stanislav. It was done by a different artist, and the painting was still wet, so now I had a damaged painting on my hands. Well, this was really a nasty surprise. With the help of another assistant, I confronted this middleman, and that was the last day that a middleman stood in the way of me and Stanislav working on this Philadelphia project. Later that day, I knocked on his apartment door, and we were both glad to be rid of the middleman at that point. Some people find it interesting that Stanislav has never been to the United States. He's never been to Philadelphia. He paints from my photos. I've gone into the city many times just trying to get that perfect shot that's worthy of him to paint. Sometimes I get the shot pretty quick, but other times I go into the city again and again, shooting hundreds and hundreds of photos, just trying to get the right shot with the right lighting. It's a lot of work. So I pick the right shot, and I blow it up, and I send it to my assistant in Russia, and he is in charge of managing my relationship with the artist. So he passes along the assignment to him. He pays him, and my assistant also handles the intricacies of exporting the art out of Russia, and that's not really a simple thing. Each painting must be declared culturally insignificant by an art expert. It's photographed. There's stamps that different documents have to get. And then finally, when it's time to ship it out, it's done by express mail. But the last problem is the Russian customs inspectors. I have found them to be sloppy. They have damaged my art from time to time. But the last shipment that I did, they clearly, purposefully vandalized my art. They did it by, one painting was folded like a piece of paper, so there's a nice crease in it. And another piece, which I had considered one of Stanislav's most beautiful, it was stabbed with some type of pointy device, and it was stabbed while it was rolled up, so there are about 6 puncture marks in my beautiful painting. So after that happened, I no longer shipped art out of Russia. It was done, I would get the art through a courier, which usually would be like a friend. After the art arrives here, the next step is to get it scanned. these art pieces are 26 by 40 inches, so that's pretty big. And I need to use a very large flatbed scanner to get them scanned. A large TIFF file is created for it, and then it's ready for printing. And these are expensive to print, so I only print them on demand. And over time, I've found better printers. The one that I'm using currently is in Canada, and I have found their service to be very good, their quality to be excellent, and the colors vibrant and better than locally done. So so these prints, they're canvas prints, and it takes at least 2 weeks to get a print. So it could be 3 weeks, maybe even 4, depending on how busy they are. So it takes some time to get one of these prints. Stanislav is quite an interesting artist, I think. He was born in a Stalin labor camp in Kazakhstan in 1949. It turns out his father is German. His mother's Russian, but his father is German, and at that time, Germans were persecuted during the Stalin era. So his parents were forcibly taken from their home in European Russia and sent to this nasty labor camp. And that's where Stanislav was born. Unfortunately, about 1.5 years into his early life, he contracted polio. And so that changed things quite a lot for him. He ended up spending most of his early years in an orphanage. In high school, an art teacher recognized that Stanislav had unusual artistic ability, and he gave him special attention to help him blossom as an artist. After high school, Stanislav went to, well, he didn't go there, but he did graduate from a Moscow Fine Arts University, and he did it by correspondence. So that was quite unusual to do that at that time. During Stanislav's career, he created Soviet propaganda art. He made science fiction book illustrations, and he even spent some time working in a mental institution as an artist. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Stanislav became a full-time artist, a full-time self-employed artist. When I was in his apartment, it was really fascinating to see his world. It was a very tidy place, very clean. The walls were covered in his art, and it was all different kinds of art, like landscapes and nudes, sketches, Salvador Dali type paintings, all different kinds of styles. It was really interesting. It turns out it really is the artist's world. He doesn't. My assistant says he never leaves his apartment, and that's because he can't stand for long, and he can't walk very much as a result of being a polio survivor. Over this time span that Stanislav has been working with me on this project, he's created about 50 quite magnificent oil paintings of Philadelphia. Now, if you see one that you like, don't wait too long, because I'm working on other projects, and well, I may just set this one aside if there's not that much interest. So if you see one that you like, then go ahead and buy it. And when you do make your purchase, some of the proceeds will go to the artist. He gets royalties on whatever it is that I sell. One other thing that you might find interesting: if you go to the shopping cart website, phillyoncanvas.com, you can click on any of the art pieces, and you'll get a blown up image. Take a look in the bottom right hand corner. You'll see a very unusual symbol there. And that is a creative combination of the artist's initials in the Cyrillic alphabet. Very unusual. Also, most of the pieces have numerals beside the symbol, and those indicate the year in which the painting was created. When you order a canvas reproduction, it comes in a sturdy tube. So it's rolled up, and you will need to take it to a custom frame shop to get it in a hangable state. It feels good to see the reaction of people when they buy one of these pieces. Usually the pieces they buy are Boathouse Rows, and it seems that everybody is thrilled that they're in awe of the work. They love them. They're very happy with them. I think if you're looking for a really nice gift idea for somebody, then this is a great way to give them something which can help them convey their Philly pride. And I think a nice big 26 by 40 or a 39 by 60 can be the centerpiece of pretty much any kind of room. I think these art pieces can be the topic of conversation at your next home party. And I think they're highly appropriate for decorating offices, lobbies, and corridors. Okay, well, thank you for listening. And my name is Ed Ryder. I'll be glad to be of service if you choose to make a purchase. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.